What's up everyone, welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. A very quick video for me today. I just wanted to talk about my reaction to Chris Wilder leaving Sheffield United by mutual consent, since it is highly talked about within the football world at the moment, and a lot of people are posting their reactions to it, so I'll post my reaction today. So not normally you get a video from me on Sunday, so enjoy. If you guys like what you see, as always, please make sure to give this video a like. It's tremendously appreciated, and please subscribe if you haven't done. Let's push to 500 subscribers. But let's get into the conversation of Chris Wilder. Now, Chris Wilder has officially left Sheffield United by mutual consent. Now, there were many reports on Friday that Chris Wilder was set to leave Sheffield United. I could have posted the video at that time, but I wanted to wait till I actually seen a statement from Sheffield United so I can comment my proper reaction and see how the club have handled it. And they have released a statement literally last night, and I'm going to read it now. Sheffield United confirms that Chris Wilder has left the club by mutual consent. The board and Chris Wilder, who has managed the Blades to more than 100 wins in almost 5 years at Bramall Lane, made the decision following discussions. So clearly there's been some discussions between board and Chris Wilder, and they've ultimately agreed that they're probably going to agree to disagree. And I feel like Chris Wilder may have felt he has not been backed, especially in this transfer window, which I'll go to in a minute. But Chris Wilder commented, being manager of Sheffield United has been a special journey and one I'll never forget. I was delighted to be given the opportunity back in 2016 and have been delighted with the success which we have achieved, including 2 promotions and the highest ever Premier League finish. I'd like to thank everyone who has contributed to the club's accomplishment along the way, including the players, staff, and in particular, the supporters. Earlier this season, Chris Wilder surpassed 200 league games in charge of the Blades, becoming the 6th Sheffield United manager to reach this milestone. We are confident that all Blades fans around the world will join us in thanking Chris for his hard work, commitment, and expertise in driving the club. Now the club will return its attention to completing the season as strongly as possible, and if we are relegated, well, I think you are going to be relegated, to preparing for the championship. We confirm our intention to keep the core of the player group together and continue to invest in the academy and the first team. So that's a very interesting comment, and that is where the statement ends. There's a lot to digest from this. Now, to tell you with my decision overall, it's really bizarre timing, and the reason why I say it's bizarre, it's clear to me if there were agreements within board and manager, they would have stuck by Chris Wilder and we would have seen him in the championship potentially work his magic again and get Sheffield United back up. But the fact he's left at this bizarre time, there must have been disagreements, especially over the transfer strategy between the manager and the owner. And I did discuss this with the agency theory thing that I discussed already with the Tony Pulis and Shansiri situation, ironically, in another Sheffield club in Sheffield Wednesday. 9 times out of 10, the owner is going to have the biggest say on what they want. And if there's a disagreement, the owner may not even resist to make sure the manager parts his ways. And I think Chris Wilder wanted to part ways, if I'm going to be honest with you, if he wasn't going to be back. It mentioned there that he managed to get the Blade to more than 100 wins. To give you his precise stats as Sheffield United manager in all competitions, he has managed 227 games with Sheffield United, getting 106 wins, 47 draws and 74 defeats, which means it's a 46.7 win rate percentage. Now, I'll quickly go through Chris Wilder's history. So, Chris Wilder as a manager, he started off managing Halifax Town. Unfortunately, they got liquidated, so he had to leave Halifax. And he previously was assistant manager at Bury Football Club. Unfortunately, another club no longer with us. But he joined Oxford in the following season. They were in the conference at the time. He managed to get Oxford in his first season in charge, promoted to League 2, and he had 2 to 3 successive mid-table finishes in League 2. Chris Wilder saw the opportunity and left to join League 2 rivals Northampton for bigger ambitions. Northampton were currently in the bottom 2 of the League 2 table when Chris Wilder joined, but he saved that club from relegation, and in the following season he got Northampton promoted despite financial difficulties. This man was a magician, and then he joined his boyhood club Sheffield United, where he had 93 appearances as a right back and scored 1 goal in those 93 appearances for Sheffield United. It was the first club he played for. He returned to his boyhood club And within the first season of joining Sheffield United, they get 100 points despite a slow start with only 1 point in 4 games. Sheffield United storm and get promoted from League One with style with 100 points. In the Championship, which was pretty much the first season I started watching Championship football, Sheffield United were one of the most exciting teams to watch. They were a team promoted from League One and not taking any prisoners. They weren't scared on who they were going to play against. They finished 10th in that season, and then in the following season they get promoted in 2nd place, competing with Norwich and competing with West Brom, Villa. Sheffield United finished in 2nd place, overtaking Marcelo Bielsa's Leeds United. And following this, they got into the Premier League. A lot of people were saying Sheffield United were going to go down. I backed Sheffield United. I said they'd finish 16th, thinking that was going to be a pretty good start for Sheffield United. But how wrong was I? They didn't finish 16th. No, they didn't even finish 15th, 14th, 13th, 12th, 11th, 10th. Not even top 10. 9th place. They finished 9th place. Could have even finished above Arsenal if they didn't lose their last 3 games in a row, which was absolutely unbelievable. And following Chris Wilder's 2 promotions in 3 seasons with Sheffield United, he earned the LMA Manager of the Year, beating the likes of Jurgen Klopp and Pep Guardiola. I mean, he, as a football fan, I absolutely adore the man as a manager. And I remember when Sheffield United beat Chelsea 3-0 last season. Yes, it was not a fun game to watch as a Chelsea fan, but I was just completely blown away from Sheffield United's football. I've got to be honest with you, McBurney and McGoldrick completely ran riot against us. Our defence were completely static and we couldn't deal with it. It was a system that not many people were used to seeing, the overlapping centre-backs. And it was a really exciting, a very modern style of playing. He almost invented a new style of football. It was really, really good to see. Unfortunately, they've been figured out a little bit this season. He's had his first dip ever as a manager. Eventually, Sheffield United were going to peak, and that's exactly what they did last season. Now this season, they're getting a bit of a reality check. 20th place now. Chris Wilder's first dip ever in his managerial career, and unfortunately he leaves. I mean, for me it's really, really unfair, but for me I feel like he took the decision on himself following the disagreements. And I'll talk about the disagreements now. Now, a lot of these disagreements would have been on transfer policy. These were the transfers that Sheffield United had made in the 2020-21 season. The big signing being Ryan Brewster, 23.4 million. A player who's not even scored a goal for Sheffield United this season. They also spent money on Oliver Burke, who's only scored 1 goal so far this season. Ramsdale in goal. I mean, they lost Dean Henderson, and that was going to be a huge blow, because if you look at their clean sheet record, they kept 13 clean sheets last season. Under Aaron Ramsdale, they've only kept 2. But if you actually look at their saves, Dean Henderson has only made 1 more save at the end of the 2019-2020 season to what Aaron Ramsdale has currently performed with Sheffield United. So it's clear to me that Sheffield United are getting peppered with more opportunities now, which is not a really, really good sign. They got Max Slow and Jaden Berger, which, to be fair, I think both have been okay. They got Ampadu. I like him when he was in Chelsea, but to start as a first team centre-back, I mean, he's someone who's not had that experience yet, so it's going to be a risk giving them that role. But what's also been unlucky for them has been their injury record. Jack O'Connell had an injury that was going to take him out from the rest of the season, who's been one of the most important centre-backs for Sheffield United. Jack Robinson with an injury as well. And if you look at the squad they've got right now, I mean, I look at their squad and I think there's a couple of players I don't see staying, like Sander Berg, I don't see staying at Sheffield United. Lundstrom, I know his contract's going down, so I think he may leave on a free eventually. Maybe O'Connell could go if he gets interest. Maybe Egan or John Fleck, if they get interest for someone like a Burnley or a Southampton, could go as well. But either way, if they keep a lot of these players, let's say they keep Brewster, Oliver Burke, McBurney, those 3 strikers in the Championship can completely rip the whole Championship apart. That squad, scary to say the least. And I would have been really excited to see Chris Wilder stay and see what he could have done with that team in the Championship. But as of now, he's left the club, and they've currently got the under-23s manager, Paul Heckingbottom, who will be in charge for the rest of the 2020-21 season. Now, you may know Paul Heckingbottom. He was Barnsley manager, but I think he actually produced some goods for Barnsley, and I don't think Barnsley have had that since Ishmael has come into the club, obviously. But he was also Leeds manager, where it was a disastrous campaign, to say the least. So he's got a lot of experience of managing Yorkshire clubs, and now he's going to be in charge of Sheffield United. He'll be in charge of Sheffield United playing Leicester today, and he'll very likely be in charge when Chelsea have got to play against Sheffield United in the FA Cup. I want to reiterate just how much he's turned this club around. I mean, Sheffield United, I remember when they were in the Premier League, I think, was it 2004? I think they were in the Premier League when they had Neil Warnock in charge, and obviously controversially they got relegated. They had a couple of seasons in the Championship, and they were thereabouts competing in around the top 6 level or in the top half of the table. But unfortunately, within 5 or 6 seasons in the Championship, they get relegated. I think it was the 2010-11 season where I think it was Scunthorpe and Preston who are also relegated with Sheffield United. They spent 6 seasons in League One, and to be fair to them, in those 6 seasons, 3 of the first 3 seasons in League One, they were in the top 6 in the playoffs, but they lost the playoffs 3 times in a row. 4th season, they narrowly missed out on 7th. Then they were 11th place in League One. Danger of going down below mid-table in League One when they had Nigel Atkins as their manager. It was really dangerous times of Sheffield United. That was when Chris Wilder came in. Obviously, he just got Northampton Town promoted. He couldn't resist going back to his boyhood club, Sheffield United, and what a turnaround he's managed to bring to that club. I guess the main question is, what sort of job is Chris Wilder going to get now? I can't really see him going to a Championship club. Could he go to a Premier League club? I really don't know if he will. Could he go to a club like Celtic, who will be very likely looking for a new manager as well? It's going to be very, very interesting to see what Chris Wilder does. In terms of the next Sheffield United manager, I mean, all the managers that you see linked with every single Championship vacancy have been linked. Obviously, Paul Heckingbottom, the favourite so far. I mean, obviously, he'll take charge in the end of the season. It could be very likely he may get the job full-time, but I wouldn't agree with the decision. Of course, like Eddie Howe linked, Frank Lampard, John Terry linked as well. All of these managers have been linked with the Sheffield United role. I really cannot think in the top of my mind who would be able to take that role and bring those group of players back into the Premier League. I really couldn't see anyone else but Chris Wilder doing exactly what Daniel Farke is doing with Norwich right now, relegated from the Premier League but taking them straight back up from the Championship to the Premier League. I definitely think he would have done the same. We've seen Scott Parker do it last season, which was my first season of covering the Championship. So it does happen. Of course, it doesn't happen. We saw Neil Warnock get relegated with Cardiff and it doesn't quite work out for him. But if you stick to a manager and there's stability, 9 times out of 10, it does work. And I just fear for Sheffield United that they have really made their chances of getting promoted back into the Premier League a bit more slimmer. But for what I say, their squad right now is ridiculous. If Bogle stays, if Egan stays, if Ramsdale stays in goal, and as I said with the strikers of Oliver McBurney, Oliver Burke, Brewster, their squad could be absolutely ridiculous. I'm not sure if Norwood's going to stay. I think Norwood could move away. I think he's got the most passes out of all of them. Baldock as well. I think he's got the most assists for Sheffield United this season. He could be one that'll be a bit hit and miss. He could stay or go. Basham may stay. It's going to be very interesting to see who comes and goes for Sheffield United, to say the least. But my reaction, I'm sad because I really love this man. I really do. I remember his celebrations from when Sheffield United were promoted. It was absolute comedy, but it was absolute passion and love for the club. And you don't see that. I mean, for the Premier League, we haven't really seen anything apart from Dean Smith with Aston Villa being a boyhood fan, taking Aston Villa into new heights. And unfortunately for Sheffield United, whilst we did get one season with Chris Wilder, things do come to an end and I'm really sad. Sheffield United for me does not feel the same without Chris Wilder. But that is my overall reaction to Chris Wilder. Let me know of your reaction in the comments down below. But if you guys enjoyed it, please make sure to give this video a like. It's tremendously appreciated. Please subscribe to the channel if you want to see new content, and please share my channel as well, or that would really make my day. But thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are legendary if you saw the end of this video. And as always, take care everyone.